So, for our last segment, we'll be talking about social media platforms and how to schedule posts on each of them. Now, granted, you can get a social media management tool. There are plenty of out there, and they run the gambit of everything from, you know, hyper complex tools like Hootsuite that are going to cost you hundreds of dollars a month, all the way up to, or all the way down to basic stuff like Up, where it's $20 a month to manage like 10 different social media profiles. But what if your shoestring budget and really don't want to go through the trouble of subscribing to a social media management platform? Well, you can still avoid all of the rigmarole of having to be constantly posting on social media every single day by scheduling posts. And that's the topic of this section. I'm going to be walking you through how to do a scheduled post for each of the major social media platforms. Now, of course, Cap and Ball SEO is on YouTube, Twitter, or X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Like, I have social media profiles for or the business across everywhere. Heck, even Pinterest, Threads, Rumble, basically everything. And all of these different platforms have their own, built-in scheduling options. So you can take the better part of a day if you want to, sit down and schedule out a whole week's worth of scheduled posts and content if you have everything already ready to go. Now, previously I have talked about, creating a basic folder structure with, a month and then, 31 different folders inside of that for each day of the month, and each of those folders can contain your social media posts for that day. Quick, dirty, really easy way to put together a kind of pseudo content calendar for yourself without having to do a whole bunch of subscribing to a social media management tool and blah 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 blah. Super simple, straightforward. I like the keep it simple solutions, and I do still use this because it helps keep me organized. So, let's start out with our first social media platform, YouTube. Now, of course, YouTube, you have a number of different options here. You can do shorts, you can do long form videos, and you can also do image or other types of posts. I'll be showing you how to do your general video posts, and then I'll show you how to do a general post as well, because the process is a little bit different. Shorts and long form are pretty much the same. But let's start out here. So obviously you're going to want to go into your YouTube backend, your YouTube studio. And of course, I am assuming that you have all of these different social media profiles set up. We aren't going to be going through the whole setup process for every single one of these, but they're all relatively straightforward to sign up for, get up and running, yada, yada, yada. So, in YouTube Studio, you'll want to go to Create, and then we'll start out by uploading videos. And I'll pull up here a folder for videos to schedule for the 13th. And I have a couple of shorts that I want to publish for that day. So we'll drag and drop those over. And then we'll just kind of wait a minute for this to upload here. And then since these are shorts in a vertical format, if it's less than 3 minutes long and in a vertical format, it should automatically get dumped into the shorts segment. Now, in here, we have of course our title, our description, and you can set up pre-made description bits and pre-made title bits and stuff like that if you would like to. But the next thing that we'll do here is we will actually edit our title here, because this is going to be pulled directly from the file name that you're uploading. And we'll just make this a little bit prettier. And for this, we'll just add a hashtag. Obviously, you want to do something relatively relevant. So we'll say, and then so once you have your title, your description, you can add it to a playlist. Now, for my shorts videos, I right now haven't been worried about categorizing them into a playlist. I've been mostly worrying about that for long form videos. Then we'll say, does any of the following describe your content? Basically, this is just, have you been using AI in any of your stuff? You want to make sure you're saying no on that. And honestly, I don't like AI stuff in AI generated video in general for these kinds of things because it's horrifically obvious when you're trying. But anyway, next, we'll go down here to tags. Now, there's a number of different schools of thoughts on how many tags you should have, yada, yada, yada. I just try to keep a handful of relatively relevant tags added on to each video. So I'll just add a few that are specific to that. And then I have a few general tags that I add on to each video because they're relevant to pretty much everything that I'm talking about. So most of this stuff I already have default. And then we'll click next. And then for shorts, you can add a related video. So one of the things that I do on a regular basis is I take these short form videos, which are basically just going to be cutouts from longer form videos like the one I'm recording right now, and direct them and use the shorts to kind of direct people back to the longer form videos. So for this particular one, Google Maps SEO or FFLs, that's the long form video that I'm going to be directing people to from this short. And then, copyright, no issues found, good. And then for visibility. So for the scheduling portion of this, we're actually going to hit schedule, of course. And then we're going to say August 13th. And then we're going to put in 06:00 and just hit enter. Now, fortunately, this does understand 24-hour time format, so that makes my life a little bit easier. And I generally post everything at 6 a.m. in terms of video content. And you can set your specific time zone if you'd like to, but 6 a.m. for my time zone is what I have been sticking with for my upload times. Then you just hit schedule and you're just about done. Now, the thing about YouTube Shorts is it does have a little bit of an annoying thing here. And oops, I just accidentally turned off my logo. But whatever. We'll get that back up in just a minute. So for YouTube Shorts, if you do want to edit the thumbnail that appears in the YouTube Shorts, you actually have to go into the YouTube mobile app. So as you can see, hopefully you can see that in the YouTube mobile app. And then we're going to be going to Shorts here. And then there's going to be a little 3-button icon that you're going to click on. Then there's a little pencil icon on there. You're going to click on that guy. And then that is going to bring up a timeline here at the bottom. And then what I do is at the front of all of my shorts videos, I have a title and a thumbnail that I've already created. So what this does here is it allows me to actually have a pre-made thumbnail already inside of the video, and I just select that particular frame, and then I hit the little check mark up at the top there, and then you're going to want to hit the blue save button there. Now, unfortunately, this editing of the YouTube Shorts thumbnail can only be done inside of the YouTube mobile app, not the YouTube Studio mobile app, not YouTube Studio desktop, the YouTube Studio or the YouTube mobile app only, and that's the only place that right now that they're letting you actually edit those thumbnails. But if I refresh here, you can see that we've updated that thumbnail. So we'll go to our next one here, and we'll just do the same thing. And we'll say firearms history. And the US. And then, of course, same thing I was talking about previously. Get our tags in here. And we'll say alter content, no, add our related video. And then we're going to have our long form video that we're going to try and get people to. We're going to do our scheduling for the time, and we hit schedule. And then again, we'll turn around and we'll do the same thing in the YouTube mobile app here on the phone. But that should give you an idea. That should give you an idea of, everything that goes into scheduling a standard video for YouTube. Now, another thing that you can also do with YouTube is you can also create posts. So we'll go up here again to create, and we'll say instead of upload videos, we'll create a post. Now, here we have, we can do stuff like text polls, image polls, quizzes, we can highlight a video. But right now, I've just been contenting myself with working on or doing image-based posts. So I have image here, and then we're going to drop that in. I've already got my text that I wanted to put in, and of course my customary typos. And then now normally you would just hit post, but to actually schedule it, you're going to hit this little drop down here, and then you're going to hit schedule post. Let me make sure you guys can actually, yeah, you can still see my screen. So this is a little bit different. It's going to be a drop down. You're going to get, your day and then your time. I don't really have a set time. I've just been kind of experimenting a little bit and just collecting some data, but we'll say we'll schedule it for 9 a.m. and then we'll just hit schedule. And then we'll hit our scheduled tab here, and we can see this. And we have it as a scheduled post, and it's going to pop up tomorrow at 9 a.m. my time. And then you just do the same thing for any other posts. You can, of course, create, your image posts. You can do a text poll. You have your quizzes, and you can, highlight an existing video if you want to. And a whole bunch of other stuff that you could potentially do to drive engagement with your audience on YouTube. But I think that wraps up everything as far as like scheduling posts go for YouTube. Now, the next platform that we'll talk about is TikTok. Well, I got slightly interrupted by the fact that TikTok decided to completely nuke my account. So we're going to start with a brand new one as part of this tutorial. Yippee! All right. Well, so to pick up where I left off. So we're going to go into upload, and we're going to have this box right here. This is going to be where you're going to drag and drop your videos into. Let me show you here. So we're in the account. We have our little drag and drop box there. And, well, I guess the only thing that I'm going to be posting to TikTok now is going to be shorts that are exclusively marketing related. I'm not going to talk about any more firearms content on TikTok, to be perfectly honest with you. Anyway, I won't rant about this particular BS, but we'll just upload this short here, the importance of Google Business Profile. And we'll turn this check on, and then just go back to my channel content like I normally do. We'll copy and paste in that and our description that we've already created. Now, this is a little bit lazy, and I would recommend doing a little bit more per platform customization than what I'm currently doing when it comes to the content. But next, we want to go to our cover here, and we're going to, again, like I was saying, I have a built-in thumbnail for all of my shorts videos as I'm creating them. That's in the front. You can also put this towards the back of the actual video and have it just be 1 frame long. I like to do it this way. It gives a little bit of a better introduction, at least in my opinion. But this is not the only way to do something like this. And we'll just hit confirm on that, and then we're going to schedule. And so I normally start posting videos at noon, and we'll set this for tomorrow, and we will hit schedule. And that's it, relatively straightforward. And hopefully this version of my Cap and Ball account doesn't get nuked for stupid BS. All right, next up, we are going to go into the Meta platform. Now, I would recommend taking advantage of the Meta Business Suite and tying in your Facebook and Instagram profiles into it. I'm not going to go over that particular setup process here, just the scheduling portion of things, but know that through the Meta Business Suite, you can manage tied profiles for both Facebook and Instagram business profiles. So first things first, we are going to create a reel, and we're just going to do the same thing. I'm going to go to add video here, and then we're going to go into my social media folders, and we're going to go into the upcoming video. I'm just going to paste in that. It's going to upload. And once this is done processing, we'll be able to select our thumbnail. And again, I have my little thumbnail there. We're going to click next. And then you can do some additional customization, stuff like that. But since I already have all of my stuff edited and ready to go before I upload, I always just skip past this stuff. Now we're going to want to go to schedule. And then we're going to select our day and then our time. For this, we'll do 9 a.m. for tomorrow, and then we will schedule. And then once it's ready to go, you can check in on your planner here. And then if it will load eventually for me. There we go. So you can see all of the past posts that I've put up and then the posts that are being scheduled for tomorrow. Now, next, I'll show you how to create a image or text post. So we'll click on post there, and then we'll add photo, upload, and then we'll do rifle diagram. Then I will snag text, One of the things that I've been doing is putting the text as the name of that I want to put down as the name of the image. This does limit you a little bit in the character count, but I do find this a good way to quickly store a small amount of text without having to have like a separate file. And then we're going to go to our scheduling options here. We're going to set our date and time. Now, as you grow in followers, you'll get intel from Meta Business Suite about your followers' active times. So tomorrow at 8 p.m. for Facebook and tomorrow at 5 a.m. for Instagram. So I'm going to set those as my scheduled post times there. And then once that's done, we'll just make sure public, that should be the default for you. And then we're going to hit schedule. And then we have everything scheduled. Now, next we're going to go to X here, and I'll show you how to schedule posts. So you have your normal post flow process, but this is going to work the same way for both video and image posts. So I'll start uploading the video here. Then we'll go back to our video details. Again, we'll just paste this in because I am being a little bit lazy here. And then for scheduling, you're going to go to here. That's going to bring up this. And then you'll have drop downs. Unfortunately, this is not something that you can just like type stuff in, so I do find this slightly annoying. But we'll say 6 and we'll say PM, and then we will confirm. And then now that it's fully uploaded, we'll hit schedule, and then it'll be ready to go. Now, if you do need to make any edits after the fact, you can go into drafts, and then they do hide it behind the scheduled here, and then you can click into it and then make additional edits and reschedule that there. Each platform has slightly similar things where you can edit your scheduled posts if needed. Now for my other social media profiles, Pinterest has similar capabilities as well for scheduling posts. So you can, let's see here. Now, I normally feed Pinterest by tying in my Instagram profile. That's how I generally deal with this, so I'm not having to deal with all of these profiles manually. But let's see here. Oops. Here we go. Create pin. So you can upload your drag and drop there, and then you can select publish at a later date. Select your publish day and time there, and then you can just hit schedule. So next up will be threads, and they for a while did not have a proper scheduling aspect, but if you go into this little 3-dot thing here, you can see the schedule option, and you can schedule a post for a later date. So you can drag and drop. You can add your text. I know there's a typo in there. Thank you. And then you can schedule it. And actually, instead of 10 p.m., let's do 10 a.m. Done, and we will schedule. And then that's going to be posted tomorrow. And you could, if you wanted to, depending on your exact business model, like say you're doing manufacturing and not direct to consumer, that kind of thing as an FFL. You do also have LinkedIn, so I will show you guys how to do a scheduled post for your LinkedIn business profile. Here, you're going to do create, and then you're going to want to do start a post, add your stuff, and then you're going to want to click on the little clock icon there. That's going to give you your date and then the time that you're actually going to schedule it for. And then once you have everything added in and uploaded, then you can hit schedule, and it'll post at the appropriate time. Now, that in a nutshell is going to be all of the various major social media platforms that you can or should be thinking about using. Another one that you could also use is Rumble. So Rumble does also have a scheduling option here. So if you go into your uploads, you can schedule it. This is also relatively straightforward. You have your calendar and your time, and then you can apply and then just upload. I won't do it here as part of this video because the upload process for Rumble is a little bit behind in terms of video and content ingestion. They're just slower than the other major platforms, unfortunately. But I do appreciate and do like Rumble because of the fact that it is independent and not focused on trying to censor and control every single little thing. So I do like it as a platform, regardless of its growing pains, if you will. But incidentally, I do also have, of course, a channel on Rumble that you guys can subscribe to if you'd like to see my stuff there. I do make sure that I'm posting all of my long form stuff. At one point, I was throwing my short form stuff on there, and honestly, Rumble's really not a great platform for short form content anyway. They don't have the vertical setup and shorts things like a lot of the other platforms do. So I've just been sticking to uploading my long form content and there, so my longer episodes. Well, like this one, actually. So you'll probably see this live on Rumble here in a few days. But I think that wraps up just about everything that I wanted to talk about in terms of scheduling content for your social media presence as an FFL. There are a lot of different platforms and a lot of different stuff in minutia that you can get into if you really want to dive into the weeds in terms of individual platform-specific optimizations and content. Each platform is its own unique beast, has its own things that need to be done to optimize for it in terms of, content production, layout, hashtags, accompanying text, and all that kind of stuff. So each one is very much its own thing, and depending on what your social media strategy is, how you want to attract customers, you may or may not want to focus on one or more of these platforms. It really depends on what your specific strategy is going to be, where and what specific customers you're targeting in terms of what kind of platforms that you're going to want to be putting the most effort into and putting the most work into. But if you're an FFL trying to work off of a shoestring marketing budget, and it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense for you to try be buying a social media management tool that's costing you easily hundreds of dollars per month, there are built-in solutions for you to be able to schedule stuff. Yes, it's not as streamlined as a single management tool for all of your social media platforms, but But this at least gives you an option without you having to shell out extra cash and stretch that marketing budget even further when it's already virtually non-existent. But I think that wraps up everything that I did want to talk about for today in terms of, social media scheduling, digital marketing, and SEO on-page optimization for FFLs. Now, if you guys have any specific questions or have any specific topics that you'd like to see covered as an FFL trying to work with the digital marketing world, please let me know in the comments section below. Again, I'll either try to respond to you directly in the comments or turn it into another section where we go into more detail like this, and I kind of give you some one-on-one, some more feedback and kind of show you with some screen share stuff, what you should be doing in terms of addressing your particular question. But for those of you who have actually stuck around to the end of the video and have actually found this discussion to be useful, I thank you and I appreciate you. Some channel updates to kind of close us out. There's a few additional videos that I'm kind of working on for more of a general audience. I've got my 357 SIG history video that I have still sitting in the background that I am working on. Very much appreciate the subscriber who commented and suggested that particular topic. There's a couple of other video ideas I have kicking around that I need to work on as well. But I, again, just want to say I appreciate you guys. Of course, I am on YouTube, but also on all the other major social media as well. For all of them, it's going to be at Cap'n'Ball SEO or at Cap'n'Ball_SEO if you want to check us out there. Our website, we also have our newsletter where you can sign up for free and receive updates. Every time I post a new video, I'll be adding a article with accompanying show notes and everything, as well as links to all the stuff that we're discussing. But I'll just close out by saying I appreciate all of your likes, your comments, and your sharing this video. And of course, as always, I'm Anders E.T. Herzberg for the Cap'n'Ball Saloon, hoping to see you all again real soon.